Zwift Racing League is back, and in this video I'll take you through everything you need to know, including how to join a team if you haven't done already, the new rules and regulations that have come out and are new for this season, and also we'll have a look at the routes that are coming up over the first stage. So stay with me and let's find out all about Zwift Racing League 2025-26 season. Well, the best place to start is on the WTRL website. That's wtrl.racing. I'll leave links in the description below to all of the material that we run through today. But the question is, have you got a team to race with? So if you haven't, you're in the right place. Let me take you through the easiest way and probably the quickest way to find a team. Let's have a look at the website. If you go to Zwift Racing League within WTRL, it's actually got a link here that says find a team. So before you can join a team, you need to activate a free WTRL profile. Really easy to do. It's just a couple of details, name and so on and so forth. Register with WTRL and you're good to go. The instructions are all there. They're all very clear. So then you need to find a team, and the easiest way, and the way that I did it when I first started out, was I went to the ZRL Facebook group and basically posted my stats. So let's have a look and see how that works. So here we are on the Facebook page for the WTRL and specifically the Zwift Racing League. So here is whereabouts you can write a message into this particular group and basically say that you're looking for a team. Let's have a quick look at some of the messages that are already there. So you can see at the time of recording this video, Tony has basically posted that he's looking for a team. He's put a few details about when he can race. And you can see within half an hour, he's already got one reply. The community on the Facebook site is actually pretty active. You can see this message here from James Bailey. James actually works for Zwift. So you can see Zwift are getting involved to make sure that the ZRL is as accessible and remains as popular as possible. You've got Sebastian here who's posted all of his stats. And that's the thing, if you read his particular post, he's a beginner. So please don't let it put you off. If you've not raced before, if you've never joined a team, it's really fun. There's a lot of team community. It doesn't really matter how strong or experienced you are. There's a place for everybody in ZRL. It's all rated on your current performance in Zwift, and therefore you are competitive against the other people in the same categories. So the teams are split up into categories, and we'll go into that in a minute, but you'd be put into a category that suited you. So therefore you can be competitive and you can enjoy the experience. Another way that you can look to join a team is to have a look at the participating teams. So if we go to this page here, you can see that it's got a list of teams. Now I'll type in one of the clubs that I'm a member of, which is L'Equipe Provence, LEQP. And if you click on this link here, it takes you through to Zwift, it takes you to the club, and here you can apply to join that particular team. So again, this is another option for you. 3 teams that I can recommend, and I think basically any team that you join, you would have a great time. But the 3 that I have raced with in the past is the Brakes Gruppetto, and there will be a link in the description below of how you can contact them. They're a UK-based team, usually race around 7 o'clock. All Zwift Racing League races are on a Tuesday. There's CYE Racing. They're based in Canada, but they have members from all over the world and actually have a very active racing environment all the way through the year. So if you're looking to do racing through the summer as well, or depending on whereabouts you are in the world, the winter and the summer, then CYE is a good choice. There's also LEQP, L'Equipe Provence. They're based in Belgium and they have a very active WhatsApp group, lots of chat going on, and they do lots of racing. So for me, joining a team for the Zwift Racing League last year opened the door to doing lots of different types of racing, such as ladder racing, team time trials, 2-up team time trials, they're tough, and lots of other different types of racing. So trust me, once you start racing, you'll get the bug and then you'll never look back. Okay, so you found a team. So let's have a look at the format, have a bit of a dig through the rules and see what you've let yourself in for. ZRL is very accessible. It doesn't matter where you are in the world and what time zone. Clearly, when you're looking for a team, you need to find one that races in a time zone that suits you. But once you've done that, then there's lots of racing going on. Let's have a quick look at the calendar, for example. So if we come back to the WTRL website, you can see here that this basically shows you all of the different leagues which your team could be in, and then it shows you the times that they're racing by time zone. So this is great. It's very accessible. So to make the racing fair, there's 4 different rider categories, and you can see them here on the screen. Essentially, what ZRL uses is Zwift's ZFTP and ZMAP. What does ZMAP and ZFTP mean? In order to find your ZFTP and your ZMAP, you can go to this page here, which is basically your activity feed on the Zwift website. And you can see there I am, level 56, I don't run. The knees won't take it anymore, but this is whereabouts you'll find your ZFTP and your ZMAP. So fairly simple really. My ZFTP is 302 watts, my ZMAP is 351. So ZFTP is an estimate of your current functional threshold power. So that's the power that you can sustain over a longer period, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And Zwift basically uses the rides that you've done within the game to estimate this ZFTP. So it's their version of functional threshold power. And because it's their version and it's applied to everybody, then it's the same algorithm working it out. So in my opinion, that probably makes it quite fair. The ZMAP bit is maximal aerobic power. So that's again an estimate that's made through Zwift, and they all have their fancy calculations running in the background. But essentially, maximal aerobic power is the power at which you achieve peak oxygen consumption in a short duration effort of 4 to 6 minutes. So what you can see here is you've got a combination of longer efforts and shorter efforts, and they're measured differently. But the idea is basically it gives a balanced approach to your performance to put you into the right category when you're racing. So let's go back to the WTRL website. Now that we've explained it, we might understand it a bit better. So here you can see in Group A, there's a ZMAP qualifier or there's a ZFTP, because some people are better over longer distances, some people are better over shorter distances. This gives the people the ability to ride in the right category for them. What I have seen in the ZRL last year is that it was very competitive. Generally speaking, I think most people end up in the right category. New for this year is that there's 2 kinds of divisions. There's standard and development. So standard has been there forever, basically, exactly what we've described. But there's now this development division that teams can register for. So if you're particularly interested in this, you'd need to find a team that's registered a team within the development section, but it's very much aimed at people new to racing. And there's even a whistleblowing mechanism. So if you think that you have spotted somebody who might be cheating or suspicious behaviour, you can report that to Zwift and you can contact WTRL. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so we've looked at how you can join a team and we've looked at what category you would race in for that team. So the next thing to look at is the races, of course. Let's start off with some basics. So first off, bike upgrades are enabled. So if you haven't upgraded your bike, then you might want to get some miles in and get it upgraded so that you're competitive. TT bikes offer draft during TTT events, but obviously that's disabled during normal racing events. And steering and braking are disabled. I have heard a rumour that the steering might be enabled later on in the competition, but that's not been confirmed. But at the moment, steering and braking are enabled. I mean, why you'd want braking in a race, I have no idea. The season runs from the 16th of September all the way through to the 28th of April over 4 rounds, and you can see them here. So round 1, Coastal Clash, is from the 16th of September to the 7th of October, and then we move to City Showdown between the 4th of November and the 9th of December. Round 3 is in the new year, Red Line Rally, 6th of January to the 10th of February, and then we finish off with the Legends routes between the 7th and the 28th of April. Each round is run over 4 or 6 races, so round 1 is 4 races, as is round 4, and then rounds 2 and 3 are over 6 races over 6 weeks. So let's have a look at the first 4. So race 1 is the team time trial event. It's in Watopia. It's on the Southern Coast Cruise. It's 1 lap. It's 26.3 kilometers, 16 miles, and it's got about 150 meters of climbing. There's no power-ups because it's TTT. We then have different types of races, and you can see it's here, the format, and we'll run through exactly what this means in a minute. But there's points races and there's scratch races. So race 2 is in Mercury on fine and sandy, and there are some new courses in the ZRL for this season, so that's exciting. It'll be routes that we've never raced before, and that's over 4 laps, 42.7 kilometers, 26.5 miles and 310 meters of climbing for A's and B categories. But if you're a C category or a D category, it's actually 3 laps and 32.1 kilometers. So a little bit shorter for C and D category riders. So again, it's trying to make it more accessible, that you may not have raced before if you're in a C or a D, and therefore it's designed not to put you off by putting these massive distances in front of you. If we go back to race 3, it's a scratch race. Country to coastal on Mercury again, and that's 1 lap and 33.6 kilometers, and that's actually slightly shorter lap for the C and D riders. It's 24.7 kilometers. And then the final race of round 1 is another points race in Watopia, Jarvis Seaside Sprint. I'm pretty sure that's a new one, and that's 40 kilometers or 3 laps over 321 meters of climbing for the A's and B's, and it's 2 laps at 27.8 kilometers, 17 miles, 226 meters of climbing for C and D categories. What does it mean when it says points and scratch? Well, let's have a look at that. So as yet, there's no information on the actual point scoring for the ZRL on the website. Basically, there's 3 types of races. There's a team time trial, whereabouts you race with your teammates and you try and keep a nice straight line and you take turns on the front and basically try and set as a team the fastest time. A scratch race is very simple. The higher up you finish in the race, the more points you get. So the person who finishes first gets the most points, second the next most points, and so on and so forth. The points scoring are not on the website just yet, but I'm sure they'll be released soon. Points races, however, are a bit different. So you still get points for finishing in first, second or third position and so on, but you can also earn points throughout the race. So there will be segments, and again, these segments haven't been released yet for the races, but they will be always before the race starts. So you'll be able to work on your strategy as a team. But there's usually sprint sections, whereabouts there's 2 ways of earning points through that section of the course, and they're quite clearly marked. In fact, if you've ridden through Zwift or you've done any racing before, you will have seen them. So to earn FAL points, you need to be at the front of the peloton or very close to it as you're approaching the segment, because you'll get points for the first person who goes across the line of the segment, and then second, third, fourth and fifth, and usually it's the first 20 riders that score points. But also, if you're not at the front of the peloton, don't panic, you can still earn fastest through segment. So the way this works is, it's as it sounds, it's the fastest time that a rider sets through the segment. So let me explain. You could be the 21st person to go through that segment. So the first 20 people can qualify for first across the line in the segment, but because you're 21st through the segment, you don't get any FAL points. However, if you're one of the fastest people through that segment, you could earn fastest through segment points. So technically, if you were to win the race and be the first across the line through all of the segments and be the fastest through the segments, then you would achieve maximum points in that race. What this does, it allows you as a team to decide on tactics. So I've been in teams before where some people have good long-term power. So they're a contender for winning the race because they can maintain a good power output over a long period of time. What they might not want to do is to take on the segment points and blow up and potentially, lose their finishing time. Or they might be a good enough rider that they feel like they can do it all. There might be other riders in the team that have really high short-term power. They can put out 1,000 watts, 1,100 watts, but over a short period of time. but they may not be at the front of the peloton. So those could be the people that you target to try and get some points for the team fastest through segment. So you can see that before you start racing, you can actually have a strategy of rider A is going to go for the win, rider B is going to get some FTS points, we think rider C and D will be somewhere near the front of the peloton so they could pick us up some FAL points, and so on and so forth. So you can try and maximize the number of points that you as a team will get, and of course this means that you're going to finish higher up in the league. So hopefully that's whetted your appetite to join the Zwift Racing League for this season. It's a great way to keep fit, it's a great way to have fun, it's a great way to be part of the Zwift community, joining a team and discussing strategy and the results, of course, with your teammates. If you haven't raced before, don't let that put you off. This is the perfect way to get into racing on Zwift. And of course, if you have raced before, I'd imagine that you've probably already done the Zwift Racing League. So I look forward to seeing you out there. Expect videos over the coming weeks all to do with Zwift Racing League, and ride on.